You're watching Tech Talk in affiliation with Tech for Techs. We're a community that supports independent trade with the help of vendors and distributors. We're live every Thursday at 8 p.m. London time, and we'll be streaming to Facebook and YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. You can listen to our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, Google, TuneIn, and many more. And now, the moment you've been waiting for, and your host, Philip Griffiths.
Hello everyone and welcome to Tech for Tech Tech Talk, where we help your IT business grow. Today's show is PC Check, Then and Now. Today I'm joined by Ben, Sharon, Jim and James. First of all, if Ben, you would like to introduce yourself and let everyone know who you basically are.
Yeah, evening Phil, I'm Ben Ashcroft. I run Bugs and Bytes Computing in Lincoln, sell laptops, desktops, trade sales and gaming tower PCs.
Rightio. Ben tonight will actually be sort of co-hosting the show, so he's going to be doing a lot of the Q&A and so forth, and you will actually see him actually in this a small pre-recorded video as well as a couple of other guests as well. If you can actually hear us, before we go on to Sharon, if you can actually hear us, make sure you comment in the comment section. Also make sure you let us know, obviously, if you can hear us, see us, everything like that. Let us know where you're from so we can say hi to you and the usual. Also, if you are in the Tech for Tech Facebook group, I'm just going to post a link in there for you just now. If you click that link, it allows your name to be shown in chat. So again, if anyone is watching, if you'd like to just comment and just let everyone know that we can actually see you and we're not just talking to ourselves. On top of that, if you would like to give us a thumb up or like or anything like that as well, please feel free. Right, so let's go on to Sharon. So Sharon, if you would like to introduce yourself, tell everyone who you are, what you do, what your job title is, and, well, anything else you think they should know.
Thank you, Phil. So I'm Sharon Richards. I'm one of the co-directors at Eurosoft UK Limited, and I handle a wee bit of what's going on in the United States on occasion also. I basically helps do a lot of the business development and operations. And I leave all the very important technical doodahs to people like Jim Ling and James Mealing, who are on the show with us too. And Ben Ashcroft, well, he joined us as a visit, which you'll see in the next few minutes down at Eurosoft this last week. So that should be interesting also.
I hope he wasn't too much of a pain for you. I heard he likes drinking a few too much.
Actually, a couple pints, and he's yours.
Well, I don't think the missus would like that if it was mine, but it might be all right for some people. Right, let's move over to Jim then. So, Jim, if you'd like to introduce yourself, let everyone know who you are, what you do, basically.
Hello. So yes, I'm Jim or James Ling, and I'm the lead developer for the PC Check pre-boot products. So that's PC Check Eurodos and PC Check UEFI, or PC Check self boot, as some people refer to it. Yeah,
got quite a few different names.
I spend my days delving deep into specifications and turning it into code to find faults.
Right, okay, that sounds pretty good. Let's move over to James then. James, can you hear us? And even better, can we hear you?
Are you receiving me?
Yeah, we're receiving you now. So if you'd like to just introduce yourself, let everyone know who you are and what you do.
Jane, Test and QA Manager. Make sure that the products are working as intended. Picking up those faults.
Right, that sounds pretty good. It sounds like we've got a bit of a lag there with James, but we'll do our best to communicate with him throughout the show. First of all, before we go any further, we've got a little video to play in a few seconds. But Sharon, if you want to just basically let everyone know what exactly is this PC Check thing we're talking about for people who don't actually know and are tuning in and going, what's PC Check? What's Eurosoft? What is it? If you just give them a quick paragraph or two of what exactly that is and what you do.
An entire paragraph. Well, that's great. So the PC Check tools are...
Okay, I think you might have muted yourself, Sharon. Try again.
Sorry about that. I was following your instruction from earlier when to keep us all from echoing. Sorry about that, Phil. So yeah, the PC Check tools are basically diagnostic software that determine the reliability of hardware. And that's been our forte for, 35 plus years with the PC Check tools specifically. And we cover everything from the old legacy style computers, which is kind of a hint on what we'll be talking about tonight, all the way through to the latest UEFI hardware. And that's whether you want to test in a Windows environment or you want to test direct, purely, native access to UEFI. That's what we do. We cover that.
Right, okay, that's pretty good. That was as close to a paragraph you could get. So, right, okay, let's just quickly go through chat. So we've got a few people saying evening all. So we've got Neo Computer saying evening all. We've got Peter Whitehouse as well. You've also got PC Express Computer Shop in Manchester here. Can hear loud and clear. That's good. We've got Paul Brunting as well. Cormy or Cormac, as we know him as, from Ireland, can hear you as well. And I think that's it for the chat for now. Guys, for everyone who is watching, we will have a live Q&A after the pre-recorded presentation, should we say. Chat will disappear while that pre-recorded presentation is going off, but if you would still like to talk in chat, you'll be able to still see it on the platform you're on, and then we'll get to the questions, any questions you've got after the pre-recorded session, and everyone will be able to see them and so forth. And Ben will be doing most of the Q&A, and I'll be filling a few gaps if needs be. So, and hi Melvin as well. So, right, so let's move on to this pre-recorded video. Can James, Jim, Sharon and Ben, can you just make sure you mute your microphone for this, please? Just so we don't get any echoes. Yeah, those. Right, here we go.
Hello, good afternoon. Today I'm going to be presenting our
Eurosoft PC-Check diagnostic tools. I'm Sharon Richards, one of the directors with Eurosoft. And I also have with me Ben Ashcroft of Bugs and Bytes Computing and Jim Ling, who is our lead engineer for the PC-Check pre-boot tools. So what we'll be doing today is going back and forth between the different types of laptops we have here with the 3 different tools of PC-Check UEFI, PC-Check Self-Boot, which is the original, and PC-Check Windows. Each of the programs will be set up for various, the highly demanded tests that people ask for, and hopefully we'll be able to show you some faults and also some reliability checking. I will send this over to these 2 now and see what they can come up with and regale you all with the results. Right, here I am back behind the camera, and once again, Ben is going to do his very best to show how the PC-Check Windows product works on the laptop of his choice, which you want to tell us a little bit about?
Yeah, thank you, Sharon. So, so as a refurbisher of laptops, mainly, I see quite a lot of gaming laptops coming through. This one today it's actually my own personal one. It's about 9 years old, though, so it's showing its age a bit. Core i7 4th gen, and a GTX 770M 3 gig card, so not the newest and not the fastest, but it does the job. And what we're going to do today is run a script to stress test the graphics card. By default, PC-Check runs it for 3 minutes. We're going to do a slightly shortened version for 1 minute, so all you do, you get onto the PC-Check splash screen, you go to the diagnostic tools at the top left here, advanced scripting in the middle, and then you can load your selected script. As I say, we're just going to do a 1 minute stress test. And if we load the script and then run the selected tests like so, and then it'll start checking, do the graphics test in a minute. Now you will notice while the test is running that there are a few sort of stops, but this is to calculate the number of graphics on the screen at any one point. So as you'll see, it's only got about 4 or 5 on the screen at the moment, and then when it comes back in a few seconds time, there will be quite a lot more, and so on and so forth until the test is finished. There you go, you see you've got sort of more about 20, 30, 40 now. And because it's an older graphics card, it will stop for longer like that, but yeah, it is just about to finish the test now. It's got about 20 seconds remaining, but as I say, you can run it for longer if you want to, sort of 3 minutes, 5 minutes, or a custom time you're choosing. And yeah, there we have it. As you can see, lots more of the Eurosoft logos on the screen now. Just a couple of seconds left in the test, and there we go. So that's a nice, quick, easy way of testing your graphics card. And as you can see, we've got a nice big tick. It's still working as it should be.
I have to add that this is one of the test areas of hardware that refurbishers, repairers alike are constantly concerned about. Will it test the graphics thoroughly?
Yes.
So I think that you're choosing this test was a good idea.
Yeah, for sure. It's a good thing. It's a big thing on the gaming laptops. Not so much maybe consumer machines with your Intel HD graphics, because they're quite robust, but gaming graphics generally take more of a beating. So yeah, always a good test to run.
Cool. And then you had another one that was of interest, didn't you?
So yeah, the next test I want to show you is the battery test, and this is, again, for me as a refurbisher, it's one of the sort of main tests, because it's so difficult to test batteries life just through Windows, and you don't want to sit there all day waiting for the battery to drain down, recharge it just to see if it's good or not. Now again, I'm doing this on my own personal laptop. I've had a few issues with this laptop, and the laptop did have a replacement motherboard fitted last year, and the BIOS was not flashed correctly, so I actually had this down at a board repair at the weekend to re-flash it with the correct BIOS to fix a couple of the other issues. And I thought it might have fixed a slight issue I had with the battery life, which was that sometimes it would run on a full charge, and then other times it would just drop off and just go completely kaput halfway through a charge. So we're going to run the test on that again from the main screen. You go to the diagnostic tests and then the test selection. Then we go into the standard system, battery number 1, run the selected tests, and so on and so forth, and then we're going. Just as simple as that, really. Now, this particular test takes a few minutes to run. I think it's about maybe 10 to 15 minutes, and you have to keep disconnecting the adapter and reconnect. Yeah, so as you can see, we've now completed the test, and nice big red box there saying that we failed. So confirming suspicions the battery has probably got a bad cell somewhere. It's still gives some good life, but then drops out intermittently. So probably time for a replacement battery. Quite good going for a 9-year-old laptop, but yeah, there you have it. So now I'm going to pass you over to Jim, and he's going to talk to you about the earlier versions of PC Check.
Right, so we're rolling on to Jim Lang. As I said before, he's the orchestrator of all the pre-boot products, or project leader actually. He's going to be showing you how the original PC Check came along back in the early day from, I think it's version 1 you have there. And then move on to to us it's all the latest tools, which is the PC Check UEFI. And that is just a tremendous independent program that's being used worldwide in many different situations for repair and embedded diagnostics. Quite a trio between all three diagnostics. So anyways, Jim, take it away.
Yeah. Hi. So thought it'd be nice to start off by showing some of the very early tests of PC Check. I have here a Pentium 2 computer.
Ancient.
but not as ancient as the version of PC Check that it's running. This is indeed, as Sharon said, version 1.0 of PC Check. Now, I can show a couple of things working on here, but because it is such an old version compared to even this laptop, it won't all work. So this machine is from 1998. And this version of PC Check is from 1989. I've had a look. I found that we can still run a hard disk test, and here we go. As it's being such an old version, we have some slight display issues with the number of heads being not all in the same colour, but somewhat minor. Yeah, so we've got to the end of that test, after all, and so I'll go back. We can run some other tests. I'll run a display adapter test because we can see the difference when you consider these diagnostics would have been run on x86 on 8086 and 286 PCs. So it seems incredibly simple by today's standards.
Still crystal clear graphics.
Yeah, lovely and clear. But if we now move to a version of PC Check that's a little bit more contemporary for this age of PC. And here I have PC Check 4.54B, I believe it is.
Notice that media.
Yes.
It's not the USB.
Yeah.
Oh, it starts its little pre-boot.
Yeah, so we'll let this boot up. There will be a brief error since the hard disk in this machine is on its last legs.
That's what we'd like to see. It's showing errors.
There we go. Pentium 2 400 megahertz. PC Check from 1999. And I remember working on this image myself. Definitely got that 90s feel.
It does. I think we'll have to reintroduce that. It's all coming back into fashion.
Yes, I fear that 70s clothing fashion may be back soon, having seen flared corduroys in the shops just this weekend.
That's it.
So here we are in a 1999 version of PC Check. It's a bit more familiar to users of PC Check Eurodos. Choose a test to run. Start with the processor. This is this is perfect for this machine because it's the era of MNX and has the MNX extension tests, and everything is passed. This is a much earlier version of the memory tests. So it will look very different to what you might be familiar with now. But that could take some time, so I'll stop that now.
The memory test is always one of the areas that people complain about, or I should say not the memory test, but the memory failing. So, whether it's this old version that you have here or the latest versions, particularly under the self-boot that, PCCheck's renowned for, that is always, just done justice for finding errors.
Memory testing is vital, yeah. And shall we have a look? The video adapter will have come along a little bit more, and so we'll have a selection of test cards in different modes. So,
that's going to bring back memories in testing land.
Yeah, 640 by 350.
That was state of the art.
I think 640, 480 was the limit of this machine. We can definitely do much better. We can get all the way up to 1024, 768 on this machine. There we go. That's fabulous.
Sharp.
Very, very sharp, very detailed. This monitor on this laptop is doing very well for its age.
So Ben, how often would you find this age of a laptop out in the real world?
Oh, you don't find these very often at all now. It's I think the oldest laptop I own myself personally is a Pentium 133 Toshiba, which is slightly about 2 years older than Jim's machine there, but no, it's very rare to see those sorts of machines in the wild now.
I'm going to set a hard disk test going on this machine, and I'm going to set it aside.
Okay.
Yeah. See.
What is it again? Save this failure, please.
Yeah. So we have a bad track here. Cylinder 239 head 12 uncorrectable ECC error.
And that's what the PC check.
And this is my Windows 2K won't boot on it anymore. Right. So
okay. Let me see what I can do
a
to
Microsoft Surface
bring you in there on that
machine here, which I've already started PCCheck UEFI. And any particular tests you would like to see?
I think one of the big questions that always comes up is why it's the booting. So why we have to use a pre-boot. I think you want to cover that for sure. And the slight differences between both PCCheck original self-boot and PCCheck UEFI. That would be helpful.
Yeah. So pre-boot gets you testing without an operating system. So you haven't had lots of background processes loaded up using resources from the system. So the only thing running now here is the diagnostics themselves. So they have total control. They can go in and they can go in at a much lower level, and they can use all the resources of the machine without interference. So this allows for more precise timing and the ability to avoid driver issues and sequencing issues where the software wants to gain access to resources that you're currently using. You can run another memory test from within PCCheck UEFI. The memory testing in PCCheck UEFI uses all the processor cores to both save time and aid in fault detection. If I pick a test that won't take too long, which was so I'll pick the quick text. And one of the nice things with PC Check UEFIs, we've been able to take the next step with the user interface compared with the older version behind, and present things in a more familiar graphical manner. A handy tip on newer versions of PC Check UEFI is we now have the scripts button, which will show you scripts that are appropriate. You chose the wrong group for that. Which will show you scripts that are appropriate to the group that you're running. So if I'm in the motherboard and I hit the scripts button, then I will see how many scripts on my stick. I thought this was a distribution one. Right, can we cut there for a moment? So you also asked me about the difference between PC Check self-built, the original PC Check, and PC Check UEFI. And naturally, one of the most obvious differences is that it is designed for new hardware such as this, which cannot run the self-boot version because there is no legacy support in the BIOS. And the time will come very soon when legacy support will be discontinued across all the PCs. We are moving across all the testing capabilities of the original diagnostics into the UEFI software and improving on them at the same time. And so there will, unless you are testing very much older hardware, then there will be no good reason not to be using the UEFI version if you want to find the most faults you can. And I think that's a straightforward and self-evident situation. Naturally, I've pointed out that the presentation is evolved, and there are accompanying tools for formatting your reports in Windows, and many exciting things ahead.
That's it, and I'm just going to add on this final point while you're still in the picture here. Ben has already put away the PC Check Windows, but PC Check Windows is the other complementary side of the programs where it does test UEFI hardware, but in a Windows environment. Just want to keep that together. And it has its older versions also that have come along over many years, but probably not any as contrasting as the original PC Check Self-Boot and PC Check UEFI. Right, so we're going to do a wrap-up here before the Q&A. And I wanted to make sure that people really had an understanding of what you do for your business, and why you've chosen the tools, how they benefit you, and that type of thing.
Yeah. So obviously I run a refurbishment and sales business, trade sales as well, so quite often volumes of stock. PC Check for me is a great bit of software. It finds the errors that you need to find. It's decent value, quite like it for that, it's, that's what it is.
So as a refurbisher, you have mainly been using the PC Check Windows, because it allows you to probably do more stress testing and what have you, which is important to get to the reliability level.
Just straight to the point and does what you need to do.
Right.
Finish the machine, move on.
So for the benefit of people that are watching this, the three tools that people could be looking at is either what you're using, which is the PC Check Windows, and there's the PC Check UEFI and PC Check Original Self-Boot, which are pre-boot tools that, let's say, maybe in your line of work, that you could say take off a refurbishing line and test without any OS involved.
Yes, if you want to test more sort of the back end of the hardware without all the drivers and the software causing issues, the pre-boot's quite useful as well,
Okay. And I think that one other thing I wanted people to know about you, because I've only learned this recently myself, is that you are originally an Amiga man. So you came, not the Omega man, but an Amiga man, and you have just a real fond affection for that era, I guess, of computer.
I do. And Phil's going to absolutely love me for saying that.
It's good though, and I think the thing that we talked about with Jim also was possibly doing a retro night again, where we could bring in his views on Amiga, because that's his background also.
Yeah, I think Jim was quite into the programming side of things, and I mean, we've already run retro night on the Tech for Tech show, and I do believe it was quite a popular night as well. So
Yes, which is kind of what the element was for this show today.
Yeah.
And because it's trying to tie in, what the tools did then, which could be kind of a slow process in testing, and what the tools can do now.
Yeah, for sure. They're all sort of retro and now bang up to modern dates. Back to the original PC Check.
Yes.
And now it's it's been good.
Yeah, I thought so too. I just think it's fun for everybody to know what all where we've come from, what we've done, and I'm not certain that was touched on enough with at the beginning of the show. And I can certainly add that as one of the directors of the company, I think I started probably as a director in '89, but the company goes back to the days of basic input-output systems.
Yeah.
So there's been some intimate knowledge, and some of the places where the tools we use, the PC Check tools we use, I told you about this earlier, was in, as an example, is an XT system running oil wells. And that they're still doing it to this day. And PC Check, original that Jim showed us, also test those PCs now.
Yeah, and just going back on the vintage for a second, it's great that you showed me the old IBM XT systems that you got as well, that you ran the original PC Check on.
Exactly. They're ancient for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And they are far-reaching. They're doing so many more things now that I can't talk about, or what would happen.
Well,
okay, well, thank you very much again for meeting us down here at our office and having a discussion with Jim about what tools can do.
That should be a pleasure. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you.
Phil, you're on mute.
Muted, am I? Here we go. Try that again. So that's the pre-recorded part of the show over. We're on the live Q&A now. So if you do have any questions, please ask away. We will go over any questions or comments in a few seconds, or at least Ben will, and I'll fill in a few gaps if needs be. And so basics is, if you've got any questions, start asking them now. You want to know about Eurosoft, you want to know what they offer, what's the best version for you, how long they've been doing it, when they were formed. Go ahead, start asking them, and we'll get any questions asked. Well, within reason. I don't want to see some of the questions I've seen coming in for Ben before regarding Amigas, but that's another story. Right, Ben. So if you want to just go through the comments, just to see, I'm presuming you can see some of the comments through there. Just go through and read what people have said. I'll pop them up on screen for you, and you can read them off basically.
Yeah, sure thing. We've had all the hellos and highs and everyone watching. So, someone not clicked the link there for to show their username. Facebook user is saying, "I bought PC Check this year for the first time, finding it very useful indeed." And I have to say, I totally agree with that comment. It's a very useful bit of software. Who have we got next? We got "You Took My Job." Sorry, that's a great name. My favourite test from PC Check DOS has to be the audio test. I've not used it in many years, but I can still hear it. I'm guessing that might have been a PC speaker test if it was DOS related back in the day.
Williams, hello, overdue.
Jim, you should bring that up. You should bring that up and give a little time for everybody.
Go on. Next comment's from Carol Brunning. Yes, they're my Windows modes tests that I helped with Jim to make.
Hi, Carl.
Next up we've got Peter Whitehouse. Oh man, I recognise that version of PC Check. Used to use it many, many years ago, so that's a very long time customer you've got there. It looks like, Sharon.
That's pretty good. I've got a question coming separately, and it's, how did Eurosoft start and when? So I don't know to aim that at. I'm guessing Sharon will probably be the best one.
Of course. So Eurosoft was originally Systems Constructors, as the name goes, and we changed that to represent more of our European partnership back in the day. I think that was about 1989. And the really, yeah, from a location standpoint, that's why it was chosen. And we'd originated with the basic input-output systems and supporting Ward software and our own BIOS, actually. And then we went on after that to focus more on the diagnostic tools. So I suppose the hook here, or the link, is that back in the day, PCs, there was a real struggle between where was a hardware problem, where was a software problem. And the requests came forward several times for test suites. And, that has a broad, what do I want to say, spectrum, I suppose, test suites. But the idea was, as we moved on, was to focus or hone down the tools to be able to test a variety of hardware. And, PC Check, as the name goes, came into play. And we just went from strength to strength. And, lots and lots of private and confidential deals along the way, helped so many companies I cannot begin to tell you. And that's where they are, and that's where they continue to roll to today.
I was going to jump in there. You mentioned Eurosoft BIOS. There's a machine in my to mend pile that has Eurosoft BIOS.
That's it.
Military spec hardware there, Husky Hunter.
There you go.
Right. Okay. So if you want to go back to the questions, let's have a look. We've got quite a few coming now.
Yeah, sure. So we've got another question coming from William Muir. Hi from Scotland, a man after my own heart, another fellow Scotsman on the show, a great show. What gives Eurosoft the advantage?
The advantage in...
I would guess that's probably the advantage over other diagnostic software, perhaps.
Ooh, I would say, Jim, you can correct me if I'm wrong here, but I would say it's probably the footprint. So we take up as little space as possible in the OS or pre-boot side of things at Jim's end of the diagnostics, so that you can we can test a whole lot more thoroughly. That I know that sounds a bit kind of broad, but speed is essential, and being able to test as much hardware as possible independently, not just one vendor or another, one manufacturer or another, is really important. So it makes the tools really flexible. It makes them worthwhile from that standpoint, and also being portable, as Mr. James Mealing down there will always remind me. They're portable, Sharon. Don't forget that. And it's true. They're just, you can take PC Check wherever you need them to go. You get updates, all throughout the year, and so you constantly have the most current testing possible, without sounding like a massive sales push there. I mean, those are the broad strokes that make the tools special, and longevity in the market. We have such maturity, understanding, intimately, how basic input output system works, help to derive, where the tests will go.
For sure. I mean, 35 years in business, that's a long time to be in business. If the software wasn't up to scratch, you wouldn't be here after 35 years, right?
Hell yeah, it's 35 plus years. We're actually, as a full company goes, it's over 40 years now.
Yeah, you remember you saying about that. Yeah, that's longer than I've been on this planet, Sharon. Another question from Neo Computers there. Is the Tech for Tech discount code still valid?
The Tech for Tech discount. Yes, of course it is. Absolutely. And if it ever lags, we just have to kick the marketing team and remind them that, they need to update it. Simple as that. Yeah, for sure. Contact us and we'll make sure, that you're acknowledged through Tech for Tech for sure.
Just to add in to that one, anyone who is a Tech for Tech member, obviously if you're not, then tough luck, but anyone who is a Tech for Tech member and you're not sure how to get the discounts, let us know, but you can find it on the announcements page. There's a link on there which will take you to the page, and it will give you the discount codes. For any reason they don't work, let us know, and we'll tag Sharon and her team in, and they'll get it sorted for you. Okay, so back to you, Ben.
Yeah. So Cormy's asked the question. I'll read his comment first, because he's left quite a positive comment for you there. He says, I like to leave a report on the desktop of all the laptops I sell. It looks good. Also print off the page which said it passed all tests and hand it over to customers or people. and they also put the logo on it as well. And that's a great feature. I have to say, I've done that myself. Printed the reports out, and you put them inside the lid of the laptop, so customer gets it, and yeah, they can see everything's been tested up to a good standard on that. Yeah, but Cormy also asks the question: will there be a Mac version made of, called Mac Check, presumably?
Specific Mac Check, no Cormac. Macs, we actually do test them, and which James Mealing could go into when we're utilizing the PC Check Windows version. And he has special little side tools and hints and tips to make that happen. And it does it well. Go on, James Mealing, speak up. Help us out here.
Well, you'd have to be testing in Windows PE environment for that, Sharon, which is something we enable you to do on when we sell our WinPE image creator with our tools. So you would boot to WinPE, and as long as that Mac has got an Intel chipset, you'll boot up fine, and you can run all of our diagnostics on that machine.
Mm-hmm. And indeed, that's just been clarified by Melvin Donaldson there, saying, believe it or not, he runs on the Mac. So, yeah.
Yeah, I had a question pre-show as well. Does it work on Linux machines as well?
Go on, you two.
And of course, yeah, PC Check UEFI will run because it is operating system agnostic. So,
yeah,
as long as you can get to the boot menu.
I had a feeling that was going to be the case, but I prefer you guys to answer it before I mess it up.
Yeah.
Right, back to you then, Ben. Anything else you'd like to shout out there?
Well, yeah, Melvin does say he did it by mistake, but I'm guessing that's how we ended up getting Windows on Mac PCs. Someone did that by mistake as well, right? Yeah, Carl says made simple, did find faults that other software did not. So there you have it. So, yeah, getting quite a lot of positive feedback about the software, really. So it's, yeah.
That's pretty good. Right, I've got some more questions. Let me go through those for you. So let's have a look. Can you give us any hints about any new products, what you've got coming up?
Who's gonna spill those beans? I guess it's gonna be me. My responsibility. So yes, we do have some. What do I want to say? Test running in the background, which is quite cool. Where you've come to know PC Check Windows and PC Check UEFI, we have a tool called PC Check Flippin', and this will allow you to probably pretty much as it stands, you'll be able to flip between Windows and UEFI, and both ways. And present the report, whether it's from a Windows standpoint, so your stress testing as an example, with all the device drivers, rolling and so on. And then also the UEFI standpoint, where, all the pre-boot side of the tools will be displayed, the results will be displayed, from that aspect. So that's probably the high end, the way that I could explain it. I'm sure that Jim or James could make that a little clearer if necessary, guys.
Yeah, the best of both worlds in a single run and a single product. So you can if you're testing your GPU, you're going to want to be in Windows because you're going to want to be testing with the drivers in that case. But if you want to test the RAM, you want to be doing that in UEFI, so that you've got the maximum amount of memory free and no contention from the operating system. So you can go into UEFI, test the memory, come back into Windows, test the GPU, and have a report that encompasses both.
That sounds pretty good, then. I think you've answered the question on that one. Have we got anything else coming, Ben, to ask?
We have not at the moment.
Okay.
I was going to briefly mention, though, as well as the PC Check software, you also do other software as well, like Zero Data, Sharon, don't you?
We do. It's not new. It's been around an awful long time. It's Zero Data Windows, and it's erasing millions of PCs. It can either handle a smaller, call it a home business or shop business, and all the way up to industrial level data erasure. It's been out in the market for zero data probably on its own, 10, 15 years, something like that now. And then in the Windows environment, probably about 5 years. So it's just gone from strength to strength. It's used globally, handles corporate arrangements. But again, which in addition to the industrial, it's that's portable aspect that, allows you flexibility with testing multiple drives in a system, a device. Which is pretty cool and clever. You get the same consistent reporting that you see out of the diagnostic tools. It's the same with the data erasure. So, you always know what to expect. Every compliance you can imagine is in there, and it's great. Great little tool.
It's great that you have an all-in-one bit of software as well that tests the drives as well as being able to wipe them to the required standard, GDPR sort of standard, that sort of thing as well. That's a great feature because, So I've got another question coming in from William Muir. I think I can possibly answer this one because of the question Cormac asked, or Cormac rather. He says, from a reporting point of view, can these reports be customized to put the business logos on? Now, Cormac asked that question earlier on, and he said he does put his logos on, so I'm guessing that'll be the answer to it, unless Cormac's got some magic trick up his sleeve that's not part of the software.
James Mealing.
So for PC Check Windows, that will be the report_header.jpg, and you throw that into the interface directory, and it will pop up on your report.
No, super. So
I think that's a pretty basic yes then.
That's it. This person saying, you took my job and now I'm homeless. Sorry, that's just a great name, isn't it? Would you consider adding a feature to change the report layout in PC Check? I'm a fan of the PC Builder test report layouts.
I'm trying to catch that question again there.
It's
I see it. Sorry, just saw it. So consistency of reports, I think, is that the question, really?
I think he's asking, can you change it to a different sort of layout? The way the report's printed, is it possible to change the actual layout, the way the report prints out?
From PC Builder instead. So this must be, I'm going to guess it's probably a customer, maybe a PC Builder. It's hard to tell. There are different reports, coming from your PC Builder versus PC Check. And James Mealing, I mean, you're going to be the one that knows more about how that would be changed than me, if that's specifically what the question is.
So I guess your PC Builder reports might look a little bit different to your PC Check Windows at the moment. But in the PC Check Windows, you can edit the Eurosoft_config file, and in there you can change the colors on your report, and you can also add in not available tests to add more detail, or you can take more detail out, such as take out all of the sysinfo, or just have an overall test result in your report. So you could put it down to one page, for example, or you could even add a prefix.pdf and a suffix.pdf, with your own words in, and that will come out into the report. So you could put like a cover letter, for example, in your prefix.pdf, and then that will be included in the overall report. So there is some customizations you can do, which you could make it look really nice.
Mm-hmm. And I think this is one of the things I quite like about the PC Check software, is it's very flexible and there's a lot of customizable options. It's not just customizable in the test, it's, like you say, sort of customizable in other areas as well. William Muir's just commented again, saying a shout out for Batten, great sales guy. I had the pleasure of meeting Batten just the other day as well when I was in the Eurosoft office. Very nice guy, as all the staff are.
Okay, that sounds pretty good. One thing I'd like to say as well is myself, and I'm guessing Ben does as well, and I hope he does anyway, we actually use a lot of the Eurosoft products in our repair store as well. So we're not on commission for saying this or anything. I probably should be, actually, for the amount of sales I've probably got Sharon over the years. But But we're not on commission for this. So basically, we use Eurosoft tools for doing diagnostics on machines, but stress testing new machines as well. So if you're selling, and even if, for example, you've done a repair and you just want to make sure there's no other issues with the machine, we also use it for doing stress tests on that. And obviously, you've got all the ability of the different tools from the UEFI one, the Windows-based one, and then obviously, if you do want to wipe the hard drive, you've got your zero data as well. So you've sort of got all the tools together in one package. One of the questions I do get asked a lot, and you're probably going to give a long explanation for this, because it really depends on the context, but it's always, which version of PC Check should I buy?
Right. That's a really good question.
All of them.
Yeah, that's kind of a good answer. I like to call it, actually we all call it the 3-point test cover. And what that means is that buying the PC Check UEFI with the legacy PC Check self-boot that we all know and love, and the PC Check Windows gives you, different environments to be able to handle just about any, PC platform, Intel-based platform. And you're going to find that you need it, because one problem that can be solved, like in stress testing, where device drivers are required for, like a Windows environment, or just certain hardware requires Windows, that will allow you to test that way. And then if you want to say go straight in and cross-check on suspect memory, okay, then you'll be able to use the pre-boot tools for that. And quite honestly, having all three tools it lowers your support burden, and it also helps us because people don't come back and say, well, I want to test in Windows. Well, that's because you didn't buy the Windows. Well, I want to be able to test pre-boot. I heard you can do that, without Windows. So it lowers our support burden also, to be frank. So having all three of them in advance gives you every opportunity to have, every testing eventuality covered. It's just that simple. So like Jim just said, get them all.
Yeah, I'm looking at the prices as well. Let's just, for example, say the single user licenses. If you went to go for the Windows version and the UEFI version separately, it costs quite a lot of money. But if you just go for the Test Expert bundle, it's only like about £60 difference between that and probably the UEFI version. So you're probably best, just for the sake of £60, is getting all three of them, and then you've got, well, all three of them. So whatever testing you need to do, you're basically covered.
Yeah,
that's it. Yeah. Exactly.
That's it. And like you just said, Phil, we're not being paid to say this. I use PC Check myself. I bought it first time last year. I'm about to renew it again. Been very happy with the software. It's very pleased.
Thanks,
and I see Cormy's has commented. I'll give a shout out to Sharon. She was lovely to deal with when I bought it. And I have to say, having met Sharon in person, she's absolutely lovely in person as well.
Oh my goodness!
As are all the staff. They were very generous to me. I got a nice tour around the Eurosoft offices. I met James and Jim as well when I was doing the rounds. So yeah.
Wow.
That sounds pretty good then. I've got a few more preset questions for you. Okay, this is a sort of a self-plug as well, this one. Will you guys be attending the Tech Max event in June next year?
Self-plug.
I'll let you answer that one, Sharon.
I think I gave you a big tick on that one, but to let the audience know that is definitely one of our venues of choice. And we've also kind of, me personally, roped Ben into possibly being there on our table to to show off his expert skills at with the tools, and also possibly another one of these. Check out this old PC. He's dying to show his old PCs and how PC Check will test those. So that would be kind of fun. And we may more than likely James Mealing. I'm just letting you know you've just been roped in also. So Sheffield, isn't it, Phil? We're going to be at Sheffield, isn't that right? Sheffield Stadium or something?
Yeah, the Sheffield United Bramall Lane Football Stadium. We've got the whole stadium, so we're expecting between 250 to 500 attendees. There's going to be about 50 tables, maybe potentially a little bit more for the vendors and distributors in there. And then we've got an evening meal, which is getting low on available tickets for around about 180 guests as well. So if anyone especially wants to go to the evening meal, they need to make sure they sign up ASAP. I'll put you the link up for it. I'm pretty sure I've got it here somewhere. Here we go. So if you are interested in going to TechMax, and again, it's only £1 if you want to go to the day event. It's £2 if you want to go to the day and evening. It's pretty cheap. Basically, the vendors are paying for the event by paying for the tables, so you get to go for basically free. We're only asking for £1 or £2 for a ticket. Is just to basically guarantee that you're going to be coming, rather than you just saying, "Yeah, I'm coming," and then we find no one turns up. Basically, okay. So yeah, that is.
They'll all be there.
Yes.
Can I just say, you kind of put me in the spot a bit there, Sharon, because I love my old PCs, as you know. Yes, dare I say it, my Megas fell right. One of the things, obviously, Sharon, you very kindly donated, you and Leslie very kindly donated to me, was an IBM 5150 PC, 808, sorry, an 808 PC from 1981. And I'm planning to restore that, so you never know, it may make an appearance at TechMax next year and run PC Check original basic on it.
Well, one of our favorite customers ever, so it would be great to see that antiquity being tested.
It's a cracking restoration project, and it will probably take me till next year to get it all back up and running.
No doubt.
I don't know. So I think the answer to that one is more than likely yes then. So while we're on self-plugging here, we also have the Tech for Tech Awards coming up as well. So, for example, if you think that Eurosoft is a brilliant tech company who sells software and so forth, you can go and basically nominate them, and you can also nominate their sales rep as well if you want in. I've already heard a shout out for, I think Batten is one of the sales guys, so you can nominate him to be basically the sales guy of the year if you wanted to be. So make sure you go for the techfortech.co.uk/awards. You can nominate people. There are a few more awards to go up from a few more independent as well. Once those have all gone through and all the nominations are through, then voting will be beginning, and the voting is all done by everyone. The sponsorship on there is being sponsored by Tender. They're the only sponsor, and they're also excluded from any awards. So that means that, unlike some other awards at different places around the world, or specifically this country, where the sponsor generally always wins the top award, that ain't going to happen. So basically, the sponsor is just the sponsor. So just make sure you obviously buy lots of Tender products and say thank you to them on the day. But if you do want to take part, you can nominate yourselves, or you can nominate others. And once the nominating is done, which will be beginning of next month, then we'll go to the voting. And the awards is on the 9th of December, if I'm right. So there we go. That's done for my self-plugging now. Back to Eurosoft and PC Check and Ben. So Ben, have we got any more comments in the comment section to read out?
Just the one from "You Took My Job Now I'm Homeless Again." That name's cracking me up, sorry. He says, thanks for, or they say, it might be a she, they say, thanks for answering the question. I used to work for a company who used PC Builder, and I've now bought PC Check Windows for repairing computers locally. So there you go, you've got another customer there.
That's pretty good. And yeah, I must agree, he's got a good name. You took my job, now I'm homeless. That's definitely a good one, that is. I got a question of how do we get in contact with Eurosoft? Is it just on the website, or do you have a direct contact to get hold of, or should they just go through the website?
Sure, the website's always available. It's 24 hours a day, isn't it? But more than welcome to call. There's a contact page on there, but you can call us at the Eurosoft headquarters in the UK in Bournemouth, and also the Sioux City, Iowa office in the United States. Anytime, call us. If no one picks up, then leave a message. Several of us are still working remotely, so it's not a problem. We will get back with you one way or another.
That sounds pretty good. Do you want to read the next comment, Ben?
Yeah, it's another question from Richard Creedy this time. Regarding the reports, are they or can they be in XML format?
They are. They are in XML format.
That was very simple and straightforward.
Yes.
That was the simplest question of the night, that one, I think. Right, okay, so...
We want to go into that a little bit more. But sorry, it's just that question is asked quite a bit. It's always about the reports. People like that proof of service. James Mealing, you've got a little bit of information on that because you regularly have to answer that question.
Yeah, all the products spit out the results in XML format so that you can import them into a database if you wanted to, or do other things. I think we're going to start doing a CVS file on the UEFI product in a future version. We just recently added text format, so it matches the legacy. Yeah. We try and tick everybody's requirements.
Okay, that sounds pretty good. Right, guys, if you haven't got any more questions, send them in real quick because we're going to be ending the show in a few minutes. I'm just going to go through a few quick questions, what I've got come in. So, do you offer any point of sales material like posters or digital media? Probably saying, I don't know. I'm not sure how you would do it for you guys, in all honesty, but do you offer anything like that?
Because I guess that it depends if someone's talking about retailing the products. We do have resellers for sure. Most of the materials available would be in data sheets, the posters that can be reprinted, or graphics, however you want to call it. That's effectively where the tools are at. But they come in a package with quick start guides, and those I suppose could be used also. But certainly, as one of our customers, you have the logos and what have you can use, and we do have customers that put them on their vans, and another guy's using hats. He's made hats and he gives it to his technicians, and and so on and so forth. So yeah, just give me a call, give me an email, Sharon R at Eurosoft-UK.com, and I will be certain to get something out to you.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure if you're a repairer or something, you could make a sheet and do a checklist on it and say, we use Eurosoft to check our things, and it tests how many hundreds of different things on the machines or whatever. Might be useful, something on that lines or whatever, possibly. Right, let's have a look. Not many questions left. Oh, it's about renewals. So do you have to renew every year?
I was wondering when that question was coming. That's another big question next to the reports. You don't have to renew every year, but when you don't renew, you're going to miss out on all the updates. And we get hardly driven by our customers, by the industry, to keep up with all kinds of different testing. I think, Ben, you were there when we had a customer talking about, it's new hardware that comes in, or I think you even experienced this yourself. It was an odd BIOS that you were working with, and when when you have these odd configurations, you're not going to be able to have a standard OEM tool cover a multitude of equipment, and that's what people like old Jim Ling sitting there. He'll know the hours and hours that he puts in, making sure those tools will test multitudes of hardware. So without staying with your renewal subscription, you won't get the updates, and you'll regret that. You will regret that. So yes, you can just not have them, but we highly recommend that you do. And we won't have to disappoint you when you come back to us saying, it won't test this or that. Well, that's because you didn't do the renewal. Simple.
Well, it sounds pretty good to me. There is a second part to that question, which I'm guessing you've heard before. Is there any way of either paying for the product monthly or on the renewal doing it monthly?
We have talked about that almost akin to a software as a service. So, stay tuned. If we get enough people banging on the door saying that, then, we could consider working with that. But again, because the tools are, portable and they have their own unique USB device, then, you have to have that baseline package first. And then you can carry on with, the updates from that standpoint. So, again, stay tuned. Stay tuned.
There we go. That sounds pretty good. Do you want to ask that question? What's just come in, Ben?
Yeah, one more just popped in there from Neo Computers. They're asking, does the initial purchase cover you for updates, say, over the first year?
Absolutely, that is the package deal for sure. And then after the first year, that's when you pay your subscription, and it's a nice discount off of that for sure.
Okay, that sounds pretty good. So, right, looks like we're going to round it up with the last question I've got then. So, you'll like this one. So, how beneficial, well, obviously, this is a question from myself, so no one's asked this one. So, how beneficial has Tech for Techs been for your business, and how do you like being a member? Bit of a self-plug there.
That is a bit of a self one. Ben, is that to you or is that to us, do you think?
That's to Sharon, definitely. We don't want to hear what Ben's going to say. We know it's going to involve megas, shorts, and lots of cider.
But the question is, has Tech for Techs been beneficial? And I know it's been beneficial for Ben. He's absolutely, he loves you guys. He spreads the word, left, right, and center, night and day. Couldn't say enough about you guys. And I have to say this little story here. So when we kind of we didn't get involved, actually, we were asked about the tools from Tech for Techs, and Phil, kindly said, "Oh, could we try out your tools and give him a little test run, so to speak?" And sure enough, naively said, "Yeah, what could possibly happen here?" And lo and behold, we got a surprising platinum award from him and Jenny, saying how great the tools were, and there the relationship forged on. I was so proud of our Eurosoft team, honestly, to see the way that they put the tools through their paces, and they've been happy ever since. And Phil and Jenny are happy with these tools. The Tech for Tech crew are happy. Everybody's going to be happy, and that's kind of our guide. It really is. It's been great.
Yeah, I have to second it. I think the Tech for Techs group is brilliant. I think the Eurosoft team are brilliant. I think, Sharon, you're an absolute hoot, and you know that. I'm not saying anything I've not said to you before. You're an absolute hoot. It must be that American-Scottish thing, right?
Yeah, of course.
I hear a joke coming on here, a British man, a Scotsman, American. Anyway, let's move on. So, I'm going to say we've had no problems working with Eurosoft over the years. I'm not going to say anything about Ben. Well, he's another story, but no, I'm only kidding. Ben's done a good job. I'm going to say the video was pretty good considering it was phoned on an iPhone. And even that first review we did for you, Sharon, what was it, in 2018? It wasn't long after we first started, actually. I think it was about May or June time. We started in January 2018. And even that was filmed on probably an iPhone 7 or something along that. And so I think we've come along quite a bit since then. So both companies. So and Ben as well. Ben was quite a shy guy when he was on the first show. I think it's just all the cider he's drinking these days is making him a little bit more lively. But anyway, let's just go around the room and basically just see if anyone else has got anything else they would like to add before we call it a night. So let's go to Ben first. So Ben, do you have anything you would like to add tonight?
I think you said enough already, Phil.
Okay, let's move on to Sharon. Sharon, do you have anything else you would like to add about Eurosoft or yourself?
Nothing about me. Take me as I am. Certainly about Eurosoft. Having all these years behind it and still going strong is just wow. It still amazes me. I'm always excited about that.
Okay, that's pretty good. Let's go on to Jim next. Jim, do you have anything you would like to add?
Just for Ben's benefit, I'm coming in nice and clear, I think, but I'm rendered in hold and modify mode. Sorry, me dropping Amiga references.
I was trying to follow that.
It's okay, it wasn't lost to me, don't worry.
Right, there we go. And let's go on to James. James, do you have anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, just one thing that, whenever you buy our products, you get free support for while you're in subscription. And we're always happy to help.
Nice one, James. And James is the best. James is so good.
I'd just like to add, actually, Phil, like I said, it's not anything I haven't said before already tonight. It's Eurosoft, great company, great products, great folk. So, yeah.
Thanks, Ben.
There we go.
And Tech for Techs isn't too bad apart from Phil, right?
Well, you have to deal with me. Even worse, you got to deal with Jen. She's the boss. So, right, guys, if you are interested in Eurosoft, we've got a link at the bottom of the screen, which is Eurosoft-UK.com. So that's Eurosoft-UK.com. If you don't know what a hyphen is, you don't need to be in the tech industry, but it's basically a minus sign if you don't know. So that's Eurosoft-UK.com. Right, so let's just do the finishing talk. We will have a show next Thursday at 8 p.m. We don't have an exact name for it yet because we don't 100% know who's actually on next week. So I'm waiting for confirmation tomorrow, but there will be something going off next week. So make sure you tune in next week at 8 p.m. If you're not a Tech for Tech member, make sure you go to tech4techs.co.uk/join to join up. If you want to join 1,250, nearly 1,300 members just like you who are independent traders, MSPs. We've got vendors, distributors from, for example, Eurosoft, who's here. We've got guys in there from Cooler Master, from your big distributors like Target, VIP, CMS, and so forth. They're all in the group. So if you want to interact with these people, get technical support, business advice, it's all at your fingertips. So just make sure you go to tech4techs.co.uk/join. When you do click that join button, though, make sure you fill in the questions. Otherwise, we won't let you in. So if you don't put your website in, your name of your company, you don't get in. Simple as that. So don't come crying if you don't get in. It's mainly because you've not filled in the questions or you've linked me to a website which is no longer available. Right. Okay. So we'll see everyone next week. So that's next Thursday at 8 p.m. So I'd just like to say thank you to Jim, James. Do we have a James on tonight? So yes, we do. For some reason, it was cutting your name off and it was calling you Jam on my screen. So it's Jim, James, Sharon, Ben, and just thank you basically for the Eurosoft team and Ben for doing his reporting job. Thank you, guys, and we'll see everybody next week at 8 p.m. See you later.
Thank you, Phil.